Doom, a game that needs no introduction, no explanation. I know what this is, you know what this is, it's Doom. The story of a man, no, more than a man, as he rips and tears his way through hordes of countless demons in his never-ending crusade to save humanity. Well, I guess it does end, but you get what I mean. The Doomslayer taking on Satan himself, armed with only two tools, his bodacious bod and guns. In case you couldn't tell, a friend of mine told me to be more high energy. So is this enough energy for you? Before I start, gotta get the rules out of the way. Number 1, I will only be ranking the weapons from Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, so don't expect any Doom 3 pea shooters. Number 2, I'll only go over a weapon once if it's featured in both games, unless the difference between the two is substantial enough, such as the difference between the super shotgun. Number 3, this is all my personal opinion, so if you disagree, you're wrong, but that's your choice. With all that out of the way, let's begin to rip, tear, and compare all of these gnarly weapons. Today's tier list was created by me and features the following tiers: godlike, totally tubular, pretty gnarly, ultimately underwhelming, and finally, the piss pistol. Since we all already know the bottom tier, I might as well just start there and then work my way up. When I began writing this, I thought it would be challenging, hard even, to pick a truly worst weapon. And that was because I had already forgotten about this literal piece of garbage. It does the lowest damage, it has the worst upgrades, and it's not even an automatic. Let's all give a round of applause to the Piss Pistol, aptly named due to its ability to do piss all in real combat. It's useless. Its only real advantage is that it has infinite ammo, but if you're playing the game correctly, ammo shouldn't even be a problem. You'll use it in the beginning to kill like 2 guys before getting a shotgun, and then you'll never think about the pistol again. And so, it secures its place as the sole occupant of the bottom tier. Moving on up to the ultimately underwhelming tier, the first gun on the chopping block is the plasma rifle from Doom 2016. Now, it's an important distinction that I'm talking about the one from 2016. For this video, I had to go back and replay the remake just to get a feel for the weapons I hadn't used in literal years. Before starting, I was under the impression that this plasma rifle and the one found in Eternal were basically the same, but I was dead wrong. Their standard fire is mostly the same, but boy, are the mods for the 2016 rifle absolute shit. I hesitate to call the gun useless because it's not as bad as the pistol. But really, there's just no reason to use this gun, especially since it consumes the same ammo type as the Gauss cannon, which is a much more useful weapon. The gun is mediocre, and without any good mods to bring it up, it sinks to the bottom of the second to worst tier. Up next is the Ballista. Now, this gun isn't bad per se, but I put it so low because I have a personal vendetta against it. See, this is the gun that replaced the Gauss cannon, one of my favorite weapons from Doom 2016. Now, this wouldn't really have been a problem, except for the fact that this replacement pales in comparison to the ludicrous fun of the Gauss. The Gauss was powerful, destructive, you felt like a god every time a fully charged shot collateraled a room full of demons, and the Ballista just doesn't hold a candle to that. It's faster for one, which may seem like a good thing, except for the fact that it just doesn't have the same weight behind it. You're no longer slowing down as you charge up an earth-shattering blast. It's more like pulling back a bowstring, which is fine, but not nearly as cool. Not to mention the fact that the model itself sticks out like a sore thumb. Most of the guns have the same metallic gray color, but for the Ballista, they decided to go with this stupid fleshy red. I hate this thing, and so it sits as the last bad weapon. Sweet. Moving on to pretty gnarly, I finally get to talk about a gun that I actually somewhat enjoy, the combat shotgun. Now, actually, the combat's pretty good. I mean, it's a shotgun, so duh. Plus, it's got a grenade launcher and a rapid fire mod, which, that's pretty sick. Oh wait, I just found out the super shotgun exists. Well, yeah, let's just leave you there. Ah yes, the superior edition of the plasma rifle. Much better, but still just a mediocre gun. Its primary fire is the same as the other one, pretty basic and not too destructive, but where this one really shines is its awesome Shockray mod. This mod will not only stun an enemy, but also gives them a pseudo health bar since it tells you how close they are to dying. I really like the microwave ray, but outside of that, this gun is just kinda meh. The heavy cannon, or I guess just the regular rifle. It's not much of a cannon, just the closest thing to a base gun that this game has. Just like the plasma rifle, the gun itself isn't that interesting. But boy, are its mods totally rad. You see, this rifle has a mini rockets mod, and once it's fully upgraded, you can send an infinite amount of these mini rockets in a massive barrage that can blow anything or anyone to bits. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. What? In the original script, I have the rocket launcher is only pretty gnarly. What was I on? There's no beating around the bush, my friends. The rocket launcher is awesome, especially once you get the triple rocket mod. I don't think I could properly explain the visceral joy of unloading all of your rockets into a group of demons and watching them get blown back to hell. For that, I'm bumping it up, making it the first of the totally tubular tier. Next up for our totally tubular weapons is the chainsaw. I think one of my favorite memes to come out of the Doom resurgence is this idea that you aren't trapped in hell with demons, the demons are trapped in hell with you. No weapon better exemplifies this quite like the chainsaw. A moment ago, I talked about how fun it was to blow demons to bits. Well, even better is tearing them apart with the chainsaw, watching the pain in their eyes as you brutally cut them in half before they explode into a burst of gore and ammo. It's beautiful. I might be a psychopath, but that doesn't change the fact that this is hella fun. Now that I'm past the chainsaw, I suppose logically the only weapon I can talk about next is the chain gun. Once the barrel of this gun gets revved up, nothing in your line of sight will survive. Throw in the shield mod and you can laugh maniacally as you move forward, mowing down any demon foolish enough to get in your way. Bottom line, is pretty fun. Okay, so here it's important to note that I'm referring exclusively to the super shotgun found in Doom 2016. I really want to go in depth with this weapon when I get to the version found in Eternal, so just know that this version is worse, but still really cool. I had briefly covered the Gauss Cannon in my rant about the ballista, and my opinion stays mostly the same. This is one of my favorite guns from Doom 2016. Every time I used it, I felt amazing. The gun itself is massive, taking up half the screen, and every time it fired, oh, tingles. I was so sad when I saw it was taken out of Eternal, and felt worse when I saw the sorry state of its replacement. This gun earns its high ranking, and it's so unfortunate that it didn't stick around longer. The Unmaker was a gun that I both really enjoyed and was kinda let down by. I honestly think I liked the idea of the Unmaker more than I liked the weapon itself. To even get the Unmaker, you must first do some puzzle solving to get 5 keys. Each of these keys unlocks an extra difficult battle that you must complete. Once you've completed all of these challenges, you can finally take the Unmaker, a super powerful, rapid-fire weapon using the same ammo type as the BFG. Now, this was an awesome idea. I mean, a super hard challenge for a super powerful weapon? That sounds like a blast. But this gun is just missing a little something that stops it from being a godlike weapon. It's just not quite meaty enough, if you know what I mean. The sound and the feel of the gun just isn't proportionate to its actual power. It doesn't help that I tend to forget about it in favor of the BFG when I'm in the heat of battle. It's good, but just not good enough to make it to the godlike tier. Finally, we make it to the top 3, as well as the beginning of the godlike weapons. First up, we have the Crucible. It was one of the main MacGuffins of the first game, which is greatly expanded upon in Eternal by turning it into a badass sword. I mean, there's a whole level dedicated to just getting the thing. And once you do, oh boy, this thing is awesome. It's literally a one-shot on everything, and the way it just effortlessly passes through any demon, leaving a still glowing burn through their bodies, it's like art. The only real problem is that you can only use it 3 times before having to find a charge pack, but considering how overpowered it is, I understand the need for a balance. See, I told you I'd come back to it. The Super Shotgun is basically the gun equivalent of a logo for the Doom series. If I asked someone who has never played the games before to name at least one gun, then the first thing that would come to their minds would be this. A sawed-off double barrel, only able to be fired once before needing to be reloaded, but that one shot is the definition of devastation, dropping most medium enemies with just one blast. Now, all of that was already great. Perfect even, but they somehow managed to make it even better in Eternal. I just wish I'd been at the pitch meeting for this version of the double barrel. Basically, shotgun plus meat hook equals almost the best weapon in the game, but not quite the best. The best spot is, of course, reserved for the one, the only, the pistol. Nah, I'm just kidding. Of course, it's the BFG. The BFG, or Big F***ing Gun, is exactly what the name implies. A big f***ing gun. What else can I say? What else is there to say? This thing is broken. It shoots out a large ball of energy, disintegrating anything in its direct path and shooting out beams that zap anything outside its base range. In fact, in the first game, there was actually a small glitch involving the weapon that allows you to literally one-shot bosses. One-shot bosses. Needless to say, it's amazing, destructive, and easily the best gun in the games. Or just in general. It's just a really cool gun. In conclusion, the guns are pretty good. Honestly, there are very few bad weapons, and even out of those, I had at least one good thing to say about them. Except for the pistol, of course. That thing is just bad, and I'm convinced anyone who did those stupid pistol-only challenges is a masochist. Other than that, all the guns are great, but only a small part of what makes the Doom franchise so amazing. I hope in the future I can dive into more of why I love these games so much, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. As I said in the intro, a friend of mine told me I should try to be more lively with my videos, and I thought of no better place to start than with Doom. Tell me what you think of this style and how else I can improve. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time, my brochochos.